The reporting feature in SchoolBiller is simplified, and we've tried to collect as much reports as we would think you would actually need on a day-to-day basis. Let's start with a simple student list. This you can actually get also from the student portal. Let's say, for example, you want to see students who are currently in 3 East in third term 2025. You can view them here. So you can, for example, let's say the students were there last year being in Form 2 or Grade 2, they would actually be able, you can actually see this particular class that was there at that particular time because the system monitors them as they move from term to term. You can even download this list. This will show you the list together with the cell number, the address. This can be downloaded in Excel or in Word. So you choose here. If you choose Excel, the document will be downloaded in Excel. If you choose PDF, it will be in PDF, right? You can also view balances by class, right? So for example, again, let's use our class 3 East. You can view it directly here, and then you can basically download that particular report, and it will show you that these are our students. There is Daniel Kumalo, which we've been using mostly. As you can see, his balance is 35, meaning total invoices have been 115, and total payments have come up to 80, giving it a balance of 35. Nika is overpaid. Total invoices are $16 and paid a total of 55. That's why he has a negative balance. Okay. This is for basically all revenue. So we can actually view balances by revenue. In this case, let's say we want to see STC levy. We then choose STC levy here and say by revenue earner. Now this will download and show us just the balance is based on what for STC. You can see that, for example, all the students have not paid what STC levy. But if you look at Daniel Kumalo is paid up, and then Victor Nika is paid in advance because we didn't build the borders for STC levy. If, for example, you also maybe check for the pass levy for the same class, you will find that the information will be slightly different. And you now see that, remember, we built $15 for what? For the pass, isn't it? And Daniel Kumalo is paid up for the pass, but also Victor is paid in advance because remember we didn't build the what? These borders here. That's why they're showing like they've got a, a negative balance. The next we have statements for a full class. You can print statements for an entire class by selecting the class and then click download. This will bring the statements so that, for example, you see this first one is for Daniel Kumalo. It shows all the details and the final balance there. Go to the next page. We have Emily Tisango with all the details, just like that. So we can just have file print and you'll be able to print the entire class and statements. So this, for example, is an SDC statement, right? If I go where I'm logged in as SSF as the school and I go to statements for class and I choose 3 East again and say download, I'll be able now to see statements, SSF statements. As you can see, this is Daniel Kumalo again. It's showing different items. There was a balance borrowed of 15. Then he made a payment, another payment. That's why it's overpaid. Is yet to be billed, and so forth. Basically, in SSF, remember, we did not bill much. That's why it's actually it's only one who's being showing the statement for, right? Then we can have things like extra payment reports. Um, this one would need to come back to SDC. That's where we've got data. For example, let's just take a wider range, say from 1 September to now. You can refresh to see all the extra payments that were actually done, all the receipting that was done. And you can export this either as PDF or Excel. It's up to you how you actually want to produce this particular reports, right? Um, you can export that. This will show the list of payments that were made during that particular period. As you can see, we had Daniel Kumalo who paid tuition and the like. Right. Next will be the just extra payments. Then we can have an expenditure report. Let's, for example, take from a few days ago and see the payments that we did. Remember, we also did this grade 1 the Champion Castle one. Um, you can also export this. I think the date we selected is not enough. Let me go. I don't remember the dates I put there. Let's try again. Okay, so there you have it. It shows the expenses that are actually paid during this particular period. So you see some were paid in ZIG, Zimbabwe dollar, but the US dollar equivalent is actually recorded there for accounting purposes. Okay, what other reports do we have? You can also maybe show aging by class. Example 3 East, and you can say refresh to show just the aging of, for example, when we build, remember we backdated and the like. You can also have reports, for example, under payroll, right? Let's say you've run a payroll and you want to print things like pay slips. You're also able to do that. You can also preview a payslip that you will have run. As you can see, there's page 1 of one employee, another page basically showing basic details of the employee, payee. Then to calculate, the system automatically calculates your pay as you earn and your NASA and so forth. But you can override this. Um, and in this instance, we are basically showing the reporting part, and then you can also print it. Um, so basically, that was for viewing the reports on what? On payroll that will eventually run. Okay, you just go to what? Print pay slips, then it will open that element and you you can view your pay slips, right? Something also worth noting is under reporting, you can send statements. For example, you can choose grade 3, let's say East. Once you click run, it will send SMS statements to all the parents of students in 3A, right? And for example, we have one child which we have here, whom we called Victor. If I go into Victor, I can see all the communication that has been sent to Victor. There was a statement that was sent, which it shows you the particular wording of the SMS that went. So at all times, you've got that record. And remember earlier on, we did the documents where we were uploading documents and we could actually view those particular documents, which are actually in the cloud about the students. We can also add notes about these particular students if anything happens. For example, let's say a parent comes in and then it gives a payment promise. Then we can specify here promised to pay before end of term 3. It said to pay balance before end of term 3. So you can enter any notes whenever parents visit or anything happens in relation to what? To a particular student. So if I have to go back into that student and go and view under notes, I'm going to have all those notes that are actually given there, and it shows the user who actually entered them. Okay, so under the send statement, you, we can open up for you to send bulk SMS, email statements, and also WhatsApp. So it's a setting that because some of these have charges that actually go with them. So that's why we disable and enable based on what the school needs. Still, under reports, you can actually create real school progress reports, which you, on a timely basis, you can enter marks, you can enter comments, well done, good, perform, enter comments, you can print report cards and related elements. While under reporting, you can create your own communication templates, meaning how the wording you want parents, for example, to actually receive. For example, let's say it's an SMS communication. You can change the wording. For example, say, dear parent, school fees balance as of. So you can change and have the wording you actually want so that when it actually sends that particular communication, it goes in a format that in language that you actually want it to show. Or for example, what other templates could I have here? For example, the format of how the, okay, 2 seconds. I think my internet is down. Right. The format of actually how you want the statement and any other wording that you want, for example, to appear at the end of the statement. You can actually have that. Right. That's in a nutshell about reporting. Thank you.